yourself up, keep your seat, and go back to order.
Yeah, your next witness in the court. Yes, sir.
On your question.
Very good. Solicitor, call your next witness, please.
John State House, Ronald Linway.
You solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this case will be true, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, I will.
Sergeant Linway, where are you employed?
Greenville County Department of Public Safety, Forensics Division. Within the Forensics Division, I'm in the crime scene unit.
Okay, what does that mean?
What does it mean?
What is a crime scene unit? What do
The
you do?
crime scene unit, we respond to a variety of crimes within Greenville County, ranging from car break-ins, bank robberies, homicides, suicides, unknown type deaths, armed robberies, any types of crime within Greenville County. We also respond at the request of any municipality within Greenville County also.
Okay, would that include Fountain Inn?
Yes, it would.
And would you also take Fountain Inn cases that might be in the Lawrence County portion of Fountain Inn?
Yes, they don't happen often, but we have had a few.
Okay. July 13th of 2011, there was a homicide at the Barrett Manufacturing Plant off 385. Are you aware of that?
Yes.
And were you asked to process the vehicle?
Yes, I was.
Okay. What kind of vehicle was it?
It was a 2008 red Dodge Charger.
Okay. And how did it come to be in your possession for you to examine it?
The vehicle was sealed at the scene with evidence tape and initialed by one of our crime scene officers. The vehicle was then towed to a storage facility that the crime scene unit has in Greenville.
Okay. And so then you're able to, I guess, examine the automobile in a controlled environment in your facility?
Right. Once we have a search warrant from the agency, we have a secured environment where we can process the vehicle.
All right, tell me about some of your initial observations.
The initial observations I first had, of course, the vehicle was still sealed with evidence tape. The driver's window was down approximately 3 inches. The other windows were rolled up. The vehicle was in very good condition from the exterior. There was a heat ring visible, a half of a heat ring visible, which was from a muzzle blast from a weapon being fired. That was still visible on the driver's window, just under the portion where it was opened, about the 3 inches that I described.
Scott, what's a heat ring?
The heat ring is when a weapon's fired, you have gases coming out the barrel, and it will leave an impression. If it's in close proximity to an object, you'll typically see a heat ring.
City States number 14. Recognize that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And is the heat ring you're talking about depicted on this picture?
Yes, it is.
Is it half of the heat ring that you're talking about here?
Right, and then right above that, you have the inner portion of the ring, closer to the edge.
Okay. So this is indicative of what now?
Of a firearm being shot in close proximity.
And that's how you, let me show you states number 16. That's just a little further back. And that's how you observe the window.
That's right.
And what is this dowel you guys are seeing?
That's a yellow trajectory rod, which we typically use when we're trying to locate the bullet path.
Okay. So that's one of the things you attempted to do was track the trajectory?
Yes, it is. Typically, we use those rods when we have at least two holes where we can connect one to another. This one's unique here, where we didn't have there was a hole on the interior front passenger door.
Is that state number 17, is that what you're describing?
Yes, it is. Just under the front passenger door handle.
Okay. So you have the muzzle blast, or the heat ring on the driver's side window, and you have, this is the passenger side door handle?
That's correct.
Okay. So what you were describing, you were attempted to do with the trajectory rod was line up the heat ring with the...
Right. We got the trajectory rod and centered it in the center of the heat ring that was still visible to the projectile hole on the far side of the interior passenger door.
Okay. We lined up the rod with the heat ring, and then the final destination of the bullet. What sort of trajectory did you observe?
It was at an approximate 25-degree angle, descending.
Going down?
That's correct.
Okay. Does that fairly and accurately represent your findings?
That's right. That's a couple of our trajectory rods being held in place from the center of the heat ring down towards where the projectile hole was located on the far side of the interior passenger door.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but you were able to determine a downward sloping trajectory and indicative of a pistol being fired at close range to that driver's side window?
That's correct.
Were you able to, take that passenger door apart and see if you could find a slug?
Yes, eventually through my processing there with the vehicle, I did take apart the passenger door to locate the projectile.
Okay. And what are we looking at here in states number 18?
That's the interior front passenger door where I removed the inner panel and was able to locate the projectile that was laying down inside it.
Let me see states number 19. What is that?
That's the projectile that was down inside of the door once I removed the inner panel.
Okay. And then, I guess we look at states number 20.
That's, once I collected the projectile, I placed it on some clean craft brown paper at our office, put a scale up to it, took several photographs of the projectile that was recovered.
States number 12. You know why you took that picture?
This photograph right here depicts the steering wheel, which shows the keys in the ignition. Also the odometer.
Okay. Did you have any, you told of the condition of the car when the responding officers found it?
The information I had, I didn't respond to the initial scene in Fountain Inn, but I was advised that the vehicle was running when the officer first arrived.
And indications were that the driver's side window was found, as you observed it, to be slightly open?
That's right.
And what, if anything, were you told about whether or not the doors were locked?
I don't recall getting information about whether the doors were locked or not.
Okay, stakes number 13. Did you recover that?
This is a photograph of Nicole Kingsborough's driver's license.
Did you retrieve that?
This, I can't recall. I do recall photographing the registration inside the glove box, and the victim's purse was not in the car once I started processing it.
Are you able to determine approximately how close the firearm was fired in order to produce that heat ring?
That heat ring there, it was in close proximity, less than a foot. Based on the heat ring size, I would say it was approximately, the end of the barrel was approximately 4 inches in front of the glass.
Were you able to process the vehicle for fingerprints?
Yes, I did.
Okay, were you able to lift any usable fingerprints from the car?
I lifted several.
Okay, what was the result of those?
What I do when I lift the fingerprints from a crime scene, we seal it in an envelope and we forward it to our lane examiners. If they have any matches, they typically send us an email of a match report.
Okay. Did you ever receive matches?
No, I did not.
It's number 95. Just look at the picture. Do you recognize that?
This is the packaging and the projectile that was just shown, that was located inside the passenger door. This is the envelope that I had sealed it in with evidence tape, and this is my handwriting here on the envelope.
Okay. You retrieved that and then you sent that where?
That was given to Fountain Inn Police Department.
You recovered that bullet, and you were the one who marked the trajectory of that bullet. You said about a 25-degree downward trajectory.
That's right.
Fired from approximately 4 inches from the window.
Approximately.
Thank you. If there's any questions, Mr. Gross may have.
Cross. Thank you, Honor. May it please the court. Just a few questions. From what it sounds like, you never actually went to the parking lot where Nicole's car was found.
That's correct.
All of the work that you did was in the secure warehouse at your apartment.
That's right.
And what you're trying to do, if I understand it right, is to document the things that you find when you observe the car. Is that right?
That's right.
And you talked about the heat ring and the trajectory that you got out of the door on the passenger side.
That's right.
Okay. And of course, I think it goes without saying that you weren't there when that bullet was fired.
That's right.
Nor were you there for the events that were leading up to it.
That's correct.
Right. And so even though you conduct this examination, you're limited in what can really be brought out.
All I process was the vehicle at our office. That's right.
And as I understand it, you really didn't do any follow-up on this yourself, did you?
As far as what type of follow-up?
Well, you didn't go and do any interviews, did you?
No, that's not part of our job.
All right, and as I understand it, you forwarded some prints to the Layton Print Department, right?
That's right.
And I assume if you forwarded those were prints that were suitable for identification if there was a match.
That's right.
All right, and you never got any indication that there was a match, did you?
No, I did not.
All right, in a case like this, it's routine that you would get Ms. Kingsborough's fingerprints, right?
I wouldn't say it's routine because you just never know that you have so many variables to what you're processing. I wouldn't say it's typical.
All right, but it is typical you get somebody like Benny's fingerprints, right?
I don't understand your question.
Well, what I'm getting at is were you ever told that there was a statement about infidelity that Benny gave one of the Fountain investigators?
I don't know any part of that.
Okay, so then you wouldn't know if any follow-up was ever done to see if those fingerprints matched a person other than Nicole Kingsborough or other than Benny Brown?
The information I know, they were the prints were negative to the victim and to Benny,
Okay.
and they're also run on APHIS, which is where they run them into a computer to match it to anybody that's in the database.
Okay, so going back to one of my earlier questions then, they did try to match it to Benny and to Ms. Kingsborough.
To my knowledge, yes,
All right, so these prints obviously belong to somebody else.
that's right.
And APHIS is a FBI database, right?
Right.
But beyond that, you don't know of any follow-up on the fingerprints?
No, and it's possible. We have processed vehicles, homes, businesses, and you're only limited to the database. You may have there's thousands and millions of people that have never been fingerprinted before. So of course, it's not going to match to any of those.
Exactly, and nobody, to your knowledge, has gone out and looked for people that might have been in that car.
That's not part of what I was there to do.
All right, and you cannot provide any information about what led up to this shooting, can you?
What led up to the shooting, I cannot. I was just there to execute the search warrant on the Dodge Charger.
And while it was reported to you that they found the door was locked, you don't know if it had been unlocked and relocked, do you?
To the Dodge Charger?
Yes, sir.
That I don't know.
You don't know if the door had been opened and then closed, do you?
I do not. I know when I had it in my possession, it was still sealed with evidence tape, and that came from the crime scene.
And all that says is that's how it was when they found it.
That's right. Of course, the victim was not in the vehicle, so the victim had to come out, and the door had to be opened.
Obviously, so then it was shut back and sent to you.
Yeah, it was shut back and sealed.
All right. Thank you for answering my questions. That's all I have.
All right.
Your job isn't a crime, your job isn't an investigator on the back end, you're a forensic investigator. State your job again, what's your role?
We work in a crime scene unit, and we respond to crime scenes and assist other agencies that have crimes. We process, photograph, document, videotape crime scenes, collect fingerprints, collect evidence, swab for blood, swab for DNA. Any evidence that's involved with a case, we'll document, put down evidence placards, photograph, collect that evidence, secure it at our facility. Once it's packaged, we'll bring it to property and evidence for storage.
Okay, so any follow-up on leads would be more part of the lead investigator?
That's right, yeah,
Be the arresting agency, be Fountain Inn?
that's correct.
That your sole purpose was to process the charge, is that right?
That's right.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, sir. You may step down. You are free to go. Go ahead, next.
State Constable Frankie Kingsborough. Good afternoon, Mr. Kingsborough. You are related to Cole Kingsborough, who is no longer with us. Correct?
I'm an uncle.
And so your sister is Miss Minnie, who is Cole's
Yes,
mother.
yes, sir.
Now, you also, you know Benny Brown, the defendant?
Yes, I know him.
How long have you known him?
That's about 10 or 15 years.
And both Nicole and Benny grew up right here in Lawrence County, right?
Right,
And you saw Nicole grow up.
right.
And how close did you live to Nicole?
How close?
Yes,
I live about 3 blocks from her. I'm going before she lived at now, where she was living at.
yes, sir.
I live across town on the other side of the Little Mill.
And earlier you said 3 blocks, that was
right there where me and where her mother and all us stay at, all us live at.
okay. So
The whole family live right in there.
it'd be fair to say you spent a lot of time around Nicole.
Nicole.
Growing up.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to take you, Mr. Kingsborough, back to 9th Street, never forget, July 13, 2011. You remember that night?
Yeah, I remember some of it, most of it.
Okay. And that was the night you found out that Peaches had been shot, correct?
Right,
The information you was getting is she had been shot by Ben Brown.
right.
And can you tell the jury who you were with when you heard that?
I was at home. I was at home in my bed then when I heard it. And I got up off the bed and went down there and found out what find out did she get shot. And I went to the hospital to see was she up there. She wasn't up there. So we went to 56, and then that's when I found out that she had got shot.
You said 56.
That's down there where the Benham Hub was staying at.
Okay, that's Barrel State.
Barstow
right,
Road, right.
That's right off of Highway 56.
Right.
Close to the,
Right.
the Clinton exit
Right.
off 26.
Right.
And who went with you down there? Did anybody go with you down there to Barrel State Road?
Nobody, my sister, she went in her own car, and I went in my truck.
Okay, who's your sister?
Laura Brown.
Miss Laura is in the courtroom with you.
Right.
And you get out of your car, where did you park there? On the
Parked
road?
beside the road.
How far away from the house?
I was on the other side of the road. My truck was on the other side of the road. But anyway, when I started walking down there, and then they told me, I was going out where the crowd was, and then that's when I saw all the people down there. I went out and started looking at, see what they were talking about. Then one of them came up to me and told me, said, well, I come down there for, and said, what you come down here for? Because you ain't got no been down here, but no, it's coming in stores now.
Okay, people in the crowd, how many, you say crowd, about how many people? Just not exactly. Yes.
When I got down there, there was a good little bit of people down there when I got there.
Okay.
I don't know on his side or whose side it was on.
More than 20 or less than 20?
So,
So more than 20 people down there in the yard or less than 20?
and more than about 15 or 20 or something.
Okay. Obviously, you weren't counting heads down there,
Right.
but about 15 to 20.
Yeah.
Okay. And you said to them, what y'all doing down here? You said to the crowd, the people in the crowd, what y'all doing?
Yeah.
Okay. Were you trying to get some of those people out of the yard?
No, I didn't tell you not to drop. What happened when I got there, we approached some of his people approached us rather, and they started raising his hand at us about, what we come there for. I told them, we didn't come down there, we were on Nico, trying to find out what she was.
You were trying to find the culprit.
Right. That's what we were doing.
Because you didn't know at that point
No.
she was up in her workplace.
No.
Mr. Kingsborough, did you go down there to harm the defendant, Benny Burton?
No, I didn't go down there and do nothing. I went down there to see, they said they won't bear State Road, so I went down there. Went down there to see was it true. But when I got there, the crowd there, and they said it was true.
So you found out people in the crowd said it was true.
Yeah.
That she had been shot.
Yeah.
Okay. Who else? You said some of his folks. Who was there with you said your folks or Nicole's folks? Who else came down there with you?
With me,
Yes.
I came by myself. I came in my truck. My sister and me came down there together. Came down there. She followed me down there in her car. And when I got there, later on, Rico and Chris, they hollered there and said we were down here. So I didn't know.
Okay. Chris is your nephew. Is that correct?
Right.
All right. How about Rico? You related? To
Rico, my nephew too.
He's your nephew. And they got there after you and Miss Laura did.
Right.
At that time, did you see a gun in anybody's hand? Down in the crowd?
Uh-uh.
Okay. Did you see a gun in Chris or Rico's hand when they walked up?
Chris had to go on, and he put it up. He had that going. That's the only thing I saw.
Okay. He had one, but he didn't have. Was he
Yes.
pointing at anybody? Was he pointing the gun?
I ain't seen him pointing at nobody.
Did you see either Chris or Rico shoot that gun? Shoot a gun? And you were there the whole time between the time Chris and Rico got there. They got there
Right.
after you, right?
Right.
And the time Benny came out to go shoot.
Right.
About how long after you got there, when you got there, let me back up a little. When you got there, was there any law enforcement officers there right when you got there?
Roger Riseborough, he was there. He was there.
Okay.
He was down there. He was down there. He was right there where the crowd was, and then after Robert got there, and then they started shooting. Some started shooting.
You say Robert, you mean Robert Plaxico?
Robert Plaxico.
And he got there in his truck, correct?
Right.
But Roger Rice was in his uniform.
Right.
Is that correct?
Right.
Can you tell me, tell the jury, Mr. King, can you tell us what Deputy Rice was doing? I mean, what was he doing there in the yard?
I know he was there, but I didn't see him doing anything. He was down there talking to the crowd down there, I think.
Okay.
I didn't get all the way down there where he was before Ben started shooting. I didn't get all the way down there.
Okay. Now, there again, at any time during this point that you're there in the yard, did anybody point a gun at anybody in the front yard?
No.
No, the exit. No?
You
said no to that?
Yeah.
Okay. So there were you didn't see anybody point guns in the front yard at that point?
No, I ain't seen nobody find no gun.
And first gunshot fired after you get there is fired by who?
Fired by Benny.
Okay, describe to the jury what you see when Benny comes out.
All I did was saw, I was walking down and then Robert told me to get out the way and get back behind it. I know, get out the way, get behind the truck or something. I told her to get behind the truck and then for us to leave, get out the way. And that's what we did, me and my sister, Laura.
Did you see Benny come out the door, front door?
I didn't see him, but it was shooting. I know he was shooting.
You heard the gunshots?
Huh?
You heard the gunshots?
Yeah, I heard him. I heard shots.
All right. Now you say position at that point you would walk behind Lieutenant Plaxico, Robert Plaxico's
Right.
truck.
Right.
When the shots were fired, what did you and Miss Laura do?
We were back up there. We were walking down toward that way. Then when we got shot at, then when he was shooting. I don't know if he was shooting at us or shooting at who, but anyway, I know he was shooting.
Okay. And now you say him, you're talking about Benny.
Benny, yeah.
Dave Portson, over.
Yes.
You find out after you left that you get information that Nicole had was actually dead.
Right.
And where did you go after you left Barrel Station? Down there?
Went home.
Went to the house.
Went back home.
You talked to law enforcement that night? They come out?
No, I didn't talk to him.
Okay. But they come by sometime later and ask you what happened?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
No further questions at this time.
Cross. John, these boards. Mr. Kingsborough, I'm sure it's hard to be here today, but I need to ask you some questions, okay? And I need to ask you to give yes or no answer or say it out loud, just because this lady over here is taking down everything we're saying, so we're trying to help her do her job too, okay?
All right.
The solicitor just asked you about, at some time later, did people come by and police come by and ask you questions about this?
Yes, sir.
And that was about a week later, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
And they asked you to give a written statement, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did they give you a copy of that statement?
I don't remember. I don't remember it.
Okay. I might come back and ask you some questions about that statement in a minute, but I want to go back to before you got there. I think the first thing is that you were in bed and you heard that Benny had shot you.
Right.
All right, so you got up, and I think the first place you went was to the hospital, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
All right, and that's the hospital there, between Clinton and Lawrence.
Sir.
The hospital between Clinton and Lawrence.
Right.
All right, and so she wasn't there, and so then you proceeded to where Benny and Nicole had lived on Barrel State Road.
Yes, sir.
All right, and I'm sure you had been there before, so you knew where it was.
I passed by there. I hadn't been to their house.
Okay. And your sister Laura was in another car.
Yes, sir.
In fact, a number of members of your side of the family, for lack of a better word, Peaches' side of the family, went to Barrel State Road, didn't they?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, because you stopped at finish station. We stopped at the finish station, got some gas, and then one of them came on down there, asked me, pulled up to where I was, and asked me, was it true? I told him I didn't know. I didn't know right then.
Is it that filling station that's just down the road from Benny's house?
Yes, sir.
I mean, if you get off the exit in Clinton, and you drive a little ways, there's a filling station, and then a little bit further, Barrel State Road
Yeah.
branches off.
That was before we crossed the bridge where I got the gas from.
All right, so it was on the Clinton side of the
Right,
bridge.
yes, sir.
Okay. Were other members of Peaches' side of the family at that filling station?
No, sir.
Okay. Well, you said somebody talked to you there, and that's when you found out it was true.
Sir.
Somebody talked to you, and that's when you found out it was true.
Oh,
Was that
right.
at the filling station?
Yeah, that was my cousin. He talked to me at the train station.
Okay. And when you say your cousin, who was that?
I can't call his name, but
Okay.
anyway, he was young.
I got you.
He was young.
All right. And when you got there, there was a group of people that were already there.
Yes, sir.
And both sides of the family, right?
Right.
All right. And do you remember telling the investigators that it was dark when you got there?
Yes, sir. It was.
Okay. And you said you parked on the road. You're talking about Barrel State Road?
Yes, sir.
All right. And if you're coming down towards Benny's house, you get to a driveway first, and then you get to another little, I guess, dirt road, Annie
Yes.
Drive.
Yes.
Did you park closer to the driveway or closer to Annie Drive?
No, sir. I parked on the other side of the road.
Okay. But you were in front of Benny's house.
Yes, sir.
All right. Were you closer to Annie Drive or were you closer to the driveway, if you follow what I'm saying?
I right in between them, I think.
All right. So you were right in the middle.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And do you remember telling the investigators that Laura, your sister, asked one of Benny family members, a male and a female, where was Peaches? And that one of them asked basically why all of the other side of the family was coming?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I think you did say that at some point you saw Chris Brown there, right?
Yes, sir.
And that Chris had a gun.
Yes, sir.
Did you see what kind of gun that was?
No, sir.
Did you see him drop any bullets on the ground?
No, sir. I went down there where they were. Not on the part, down there where they were. Where they came in at.
And he was down by the driveway.
Yeah, he was down there by the driveway. They come in the other way, I think.
Did you ever see Chris Brown up by the house?
No, sir. I didn't see all of that.
Did you ever see Rico up by the house?
No, sir.
Okay. Like you said, it was dark out there, wasn't
Right.
it? All right. And do you remember the investigators asking about whether or not you saw Deputy Rice? You remember them asking you that question?
Yes, sir.
You remember telling them, I did not see the other officer until someone said he was on the ground shot and everybody was trying to rush over and help him?
Yes, sir.
You told them that?
Yes, sir.
And do you also remember telling the investigators, I only saw the officer's white car. I never saw him until he went down. You remember telling the investigators that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And as I understand it, there was a number of people that were up in the yard, right?
Right.
And you were starting to go up to the yard.
Yes, sir.
All right. But you couldn't tell everything that was going on because it was dark out there.
Yes, sir.
And you didn't even, at the time, you didn't even know that Deputy Rice was up in the yard, did you?
No, sir.
All right. That's something you really
Yeah.
found out about later on.
Right. When they told me he got shot, that's when I found out.
And that was the first time you knew that one of the deputies had gone up towards the house?
Yes, sir.
And you couldn't see that because it was dark? Is that right?
No, sir.
And I think, just one or two more questions, but I think you said that Robert Plaxico basically told you to get back
Yes, sir.
and to leave,
Right,
right?
right.
So you didn't hear or witness any of the officers trying to keep all of this group there so they could get identifications?
No, sir.
Or asking questions?
No, sir.
Or look inside their cars?
No, sir.
Or see what they had brought to the scene?
No,
with
sir.
or not brought?
No, sir.
All right, and you basically did what Mr. Plaxico told you to do.
Right.
You left,
Yes, sir.
and it was a week later when Sled came in.
Yes, sir.
I know this has probably been a hard day for you, but I appreciate you answering my questions.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Mr. Kingsborough, you gave a written statement.
Right.
on board that night.
Right.
Gross was asking you about. And you referenced to them another slim white officer that came to the house. And I think
You know,
referring to Roger Rice.
yeah, he came there first. After we found out that he said Bennett had a shot, killed Peach, and he left. Roger Wright left and went down the Bass State Road.
Okay, so when you said you didn't see the other officer
No,
get
sir.
shot, you didn't see him until he was on the ground.
Right.
You didn't see him get shot.
No, sir.
But you did see him there before.
Right. Yes, sir.
No further questions?
Just a brief follow-up on that, Your Honor. Do you want to see a copy of your statement?
Yeah, we have no problem coming in.
No.
No objection.
If you want to show it to Mr. Gross and then handle it.
It's already marked and is an exhibit.
If you have no objection to coming in, I'm going to let it in, however you want to let it. Okay.
What I want you to do is look at this part on the second page, starting by this time. Can you look at that for me?
You read it?
Yes. By this time, gunshots started coming from inside the house, and we all started running for cover, and Plaxico and the other slim white officer started shooting back at Vinnie Brown, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, and so when you're talking about the slim officer, you're talking about the one that was shooting. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And do you know if that was Mr. Prather?
No, I don't know who it was.
Okay, but he wasn't the one that got shot.
Yes, sir.
He was not or was?
Yes, sir. He got shot.
The one that was shooting back at the house?
Oh, no, no, sir.
I mean, do you remember there being two officers
There
on
was-
barrels? Yes, sir.
There was- I think it was two officers up there where me and Mr. Plaxico were.
Right.
And that's what I'm talking about, they were shooting.
Okay. Well, there was Mr. Plaxico, and he was in a pickup truck.
Right,
And there was another officer that was in a patrol car.
right.
And those were the two officers that were shooting at the house.
Yes, sir.
Do you remember that?
All I know that all of them were shooting, yes, sir.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Sir, you may step down. Okay. Are we going to, is the statement in evidence, or are we going to?
It was one of the exhibits that we marked in case it was necessary, so this time it would be an evidence.
We can put it in as a state executive.
Do you know the exhibit number, or if somebody can locate that?
I make sure the record's
We
correct.
can.
I'll locate that and put it on the record later, Your Honor.
Thank you. Call your next witness, please.
They call us Chris Brown.
You solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this case will be true and whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Chris Brown?
Correct.
Where are you from?
Clinton?
Clint, and are you related to Benny Brown?
No.
Okay. Were you related to Peaches Kingston?
Yes.
Kingston? How are you related to her?
It's my first cousin. Her mom is my aunt.
Okay. Did you know Benny Brown?
Excuse me?
Did you know Mr. Benny Brown?
Yeah, I knew it.
How did you know him?
Well, I knew him through friends, other friends.
If you don't mind, you speak out of a real soft voice, so speaking here.
Okay.
Okay. You knew him through other friends?
Yeah, through other friends.
Was he a friend of yours?
Well, yeah, we were good friends.
Okay. How long do you think you knew him?
I knew him quite a long time.
What kind of things would you and Benny Brown do together?
We would drink.
Let's drink. Did you ever, do you know what he did for a living?
Well, yeah, he drove truck.
Drove trucks, 18-wheelers?
Correct.
Okay. You know who he worked for?
Not really.
But you knew he drove 18-wheelers. You know where he drove them to?
I know one place, Chattanooga.
Chattanooga, Tennessee?
Correct.
Okay. So what other things did you do with him besides drinking?
Well, that's about the only thing. Just drink.
Did you build a deck with him at one point?
Well, we did some roofing work.
You did roofing with him?
Correct.
Okay. What was that for?
My cousin.
Okay. Y'all roofed the house by yourselves?
Me and a few more people.
Okay. Who knew how to do that?
Well, Benny, he know how to do it, and my uncle, he know how to do it.
Okay. And they showed you how to do it?
Well, I was a helper.
Okay. But as far as just your friendship with Benny Brown, for the most part, would y'all go anywhere together, or did y'all just kind of, where would y'all drink typically?
Well, basically at the house.
Whose house?
At his house, or he'll come out my yard, or whatever.
You talking about the 4 or 5 barrel state house?
No.
What now?
Mills.
Which house you talking about?
Apple Orchard.
Oh, when he used to live out in Orchard?
Correct.
Okay. Is that where you lived at the time on Apple Orchard?
Correct.
Okay. All right, July 13th of 2011. Do you remember hanging out and drinking with Benny that day?
Yes.
Okay. Where was that at?
It was in my yard.
At Apple Orchard?
Correct.
Do you remember how he came to your house that day?
He came to my house drunk.
He was already drunk when he got there?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember what he was driving?
Yeah, he was driving a white Chevrolet truck.
Okay. And did y'all drink some more once he got there?
Yes.
What was he supposed to? Was he late getting there or something? Or?
Yeah, he was late. We had been talking about drinking that morning. He had took the kids out to do something with them. And he said he would bring me some liquor back. And we sat down and get drunk, so he came back late. And I already had went to the store and got mine. So I was about drunk too when he got there.
All right. So the deal was he was there. He said he was going to pick some liquor up and come back. He was late getting back, so you went and got some liquor for yourself?
Correct.
Okay. What did y'all talk about once he got there and y'all started drinking together?
Well, when he got there, we were talking. He was talking about getting back together with Nicole, whatever.
Talking about so they were broken up at the time?
I think so.
Okay. And Nicole, did you call her Nicole or did you call her Peaches?
Peaches.
Okay, cool. Peaches is your first cousin?
Correct.
Okay. Do you know about how long they had been, I guess, on again, off again? How long they had been knowing each other?
I can't really say.
How would you describe their relationship?
Well, at first it was good until
Was it volatile? Would you describe it as that? They argued with one another?
yeah, sometimes.
But in July of 2011, they had broken up. They weren't together at that time?
No.
Okay. But you said that Benny was talking about wanting to get back together with him.
Yes.
Okay. And while he was talking about that, did Did he show you something?
Yeah, he showed me a gun.
Okay, how did that come about? How did he come to do that?
Well, I can't really say how that go about it. It's just like, first we reached back in the back of the truck, up on his clothes, pulled the gun out. He was like, he ain't trying to hurt nobody with his gun. And I just got it back from Tony like that. And I was like, okay, cool, like that. And then he was like, well, the other people should stay out, the other people relationship or whatever. So he just put the gun back up under the clothes, and we talked a little bit more, and we sitting there talking.
Okay.
So then he was like, well, I'm finna go back up here and lay down with my girl like that. So I didn't think nothing about it, so I was like, okay, cool. So he was telling me he had to go to work, which I knew he wasn't going to work, not drunk like that.
And he said, all right, let me ask you about a few things you just mentioned. Who's Tony that he got the gun from?
It's one of our in-laws, or one of my in-laws.
One of your in-laws? And why would Tony have had his gun?
I guess he took it from him or whatever.
Okay. Had you seen that gun before?
Yes.
Then he had showed it to you before?
Yes.
Okay, what kind of gun was it?
A 357 automatic.
Okay. And had he ever let you hold it?
Yes, I held it in my hand. I had never shot it though, but I held it in my hand.
And he indicated that for some reason Tony had it for a little bit, that he had just gotten it back.
Correct.
And you said he pulled it out from under some clothes in the back of his truck.
Correct.
Okay. And all right, he showed it to you and then just said, I don't mean to hurt anybody with this.
Correct.
Okay. What effect did that statement have on you?
I didn't think nothing at the body. I didn't think he was hurting anybody. So.
What, all right, you said something about after that, he said, I'm fixing to go lay up here with my girl. What does that mean?
I guess he was going to go lay down with her because she had to go to work she worked third shift, so she had to go to work at night. So he was like, I'm going to lay down with her till she go to work or whatever.
Who was he referring to, or do you know?
Nico.
Okay. Well, now I thought you just said that they were broken up at the time. They weren't together.
Well, they wasn't.
They weren't? Okay. He said he was going to go meet her there?
Yes.
And he indicated that she was working third shift that night?
Yes.
Do you remember about what time he left your house?
I'll say around 7, maybe it's 8.
Okay. Between 7 and 8 he left? And what car did you say he was in?
He was in a white Chevrolet pickup truck.
How many cars did he own?
Just a Chevrolet truck.
Say what?
Just a Chevrolet truck.
Okay. Let me show you the defense exhibit 119. I'm just going to ask you, do you remember a burgundy car that he had?
Yeah, a burgundy ZF1, something like that. A burgundy truck.
Z71?
Yeah, Z71.
Just read that to, do you remember giving that statement? Do you remember giving that statement, Chris?
Yes.
Okay.
You want me to read this out?
No. Does it refresh your memory of that?
Yes.
And do you recall him having another automobile?
Yes.
Okay. What Let me show you states number 50. Do you recognize that?
Yes.
And do you recall that automobile?
I remember the white truck and the burgundy Suburban.
This?
Yes.
You remember this car?
Yes.
And in your statement that you gave police, you said that was the car that he was driving over your house that night?
Oh, no, it was the white Chevrolet pickup truck.
All right. That's how you remember it now, but if you look, don't you talk about a burgundy SUV when you gave your statement?
No.
Judge is leaving. If you want to show him the statement, and I will clarify what he said at the time.
It's in evidence. I guess we're going to publish it now, Your Honor.
No problem. Go ahead.
Just read the whole thing for us, Chris, if you don't mind. Or if you prefer me to read it, you can go along. I'm requesting that Special Agent Debbie Jones write my statement. Benny Brown came to my house on July 13, 2011, around 7 p.m. We talked, had some drinks with Paul Masson, vodka and beer. Benny pulled out a .357 and showed it to me, and he said his friend had his other gun. Then he said he was not going to hurt anybody, and said he was going to try to get back with Nicole because they'd been on outs. Nicole Kingsborough is my first cousin. Around 7:50, Benny put the gun back under a lot of clothes in his burgundy Suburban and leaves. I go and lay down because I had drank a lot. My wife, Thomasina Brown, heard a lot of hollering. Someone was saying that Peaches was dead. I got up, and me and Rico Kingsborough went to Benny's house on Barrel State Road in Rico's gray Dodge Avenger. We sat in Benny's yard for a minute, and then an SUV pulled up, burgundy or black in color. We got to the house about 15 minutes before the police got there. We moved the car and let the SUV come in the yard. And then we got back out the car because we thought that Benny was in the SUV, but a woman got out. There was a dude in the yard, and I got to an argument with him because he was cursing me and saying that Benny was his cousin. Nobody was going to bother him. Rico Kingsborough had his gun, a .22 caliber gun, but I got out the car first. Don't know if Rico brought the gun from the car. By this time, some more of my family members came to the house. I heard something like a window break, and then I heard shots coming from inside the house. Rico got hit in the leg when the officers were there. I ran, and that's when I saw the officer fall. And the other officer started shooting into the house. I saw the officer get back up, and I could see that he was hit. I started trying to tell the other officers that their man was hit. They told me to get out of the way. I did not fire a weapon, and I did not hear Rico shoot.
It wasn't a 22, it was a 32.
Okay, well, let me get to that in a minute. I just want to back up. Before any of that happened, you talked about him coming over and showing the .357. Do you recall it being this white car or this burgundy SUV that you talked about?
It was the white pickup truck.
Okay. But he had it was a .357 you had seen before, and he pulled it out from under some clothes in the back?
Correct.
Okay. And then you said about 8 o'clock, he put the gun back up and then left?
Correct.
And what did you do?
Me and my wife, we went in the house and laid down.
Okay. And you said you were drunk?
Correct.
Did you go to sleep?
No. Just laying there.
Okay. What was the next thing you remember? Who woke you up?
Well, I wasn't asleep. I heard a lot of hollering. And then my wife came and told, she ran in the room and told me that Benny had killed Nicole.
And then what did you do as a result of hearing about that?
So I was looking from the gun, talking about 32. I was looking from 32, loaded up.
All right, tell me about the 32. Is that your gun?
Yes.
Space number 87. You recognize that?
Yes.
Where did you get this gun?
No, I found it.
Why is it this rusted out? It's I don't know, it's rusty to say the least. How did it get to be this way?
Well, I found it in some woods over there and some bushes.
You found it in some bushes?
Correct.
And was it in the rain?
Yes.
And where did you keep it?
Well, I keep it in my drawer in my house.
Okay. Did you ever keep it under a house somewhere?
I don't know.
Okay. And you said you found that gun in some woods near your home?
Correct.
Have you ever shot it?
Yes.
Does it work?
It worked at the time when I shot it.
Tell me, after you woke up and you heard Benny kill Peaches, what was the next thing you did?
Look for my gun, look for my bullet, load it up. I went out the yard, I shot it in the yard.
Right then?
Yeah, right there.
And why did you feel the need to get the gun out?
Angry.
You're angry? About because Peaches?
Correct.
Where did you go next?
Well, me and my cousin Rico, we got in the car and went to Barristain Road.
How did you get a hold of Rico? Did you call him?
No, some family member called and we all met up at my grandfather's house
Where's that?
on Apple Orchard.
Apple Orchard? Okay. So you and Rico and some other people met at your grandfather's house on Apple Orchard. And what was the plan after that? Where did y'all plan to go?
Really wasn't no plan. We just went down to Barristain Road to Benny's house.
How'd you get there? What car did you take?
It was a gray, can't remember what model.
A Benz?
Yeah.
Is that Rico's car?
Yeah, correct.
And did he drive?
Yeah, he drove.
Did he have a gun that you knew of?
No.
So you just took 32, you had it loaded. And did you carry it with you?
Yeah, I carried it.
And tell me what happened when you got to Barrel State Road.
We got to Barristain Road, we pulled in the yard. Rico said, I had Rico the gun, but he said, give me the gun, hand me the gun. And we went into the window, we heard where he said he heard Benny crying. And he was telling me to get back from the window, because he might shoot out the window, whatever.
Who else was there when you showed up?
There was some people already in the backyard.
Did you know who they were?
No.
Let me show you states number 45. Do you recognize that picture, Chris?
Yes.
Whose house is that?
It's Benny Brown.
Okay, and if you're facing the house from Barrel State Road, that's kind of the left side of the house. Is that accurate?
Correct.
And is that where you said that y'all went, you and Rico?
Correct.
Okay, and are these the windows you're talking about here? Then you come?
Correct. Yes.
And how close did y'all get to the windows?
We were real close.
What were you doing?
Well, I guess Rico listened to him crying, and I was standing on the side because Rico was telling me to get back. Don't stand in front of the window.
Okay. Well, why not stand in front of the window?
Because he said Benny might shoot out the window.
Did he shoot out the window?
No.
Did you or Rico shoot into the window?
No, the gun didn't even work.
The gun
When we
didn't
got
work?
there.
Well, you just said you fired it before you left.
Yeah, I fired before I left, but when we got there, the gun didn't even work.
Rico, did he know how to work that gun? Had he shot that gun before?
No, he never shot it.
All right. Tell me, was he attempting to shoot it there?
He was tempting, but
What was he doing?
he kept messing with it, pulling the trigger, messing with it, pulling the trigger, and never would fire.
Just speak up some, Chris.
He was just messing with it, pulling the back, pulling the trigger, pulling it back, and it never would shoot.
You talking about slide up there? He was trying to gauge it.
Correct.
He was unable to, is what you're saying?
I mean, the bullet, it'll go in the chamber, but it just wouldn't fire.
Okay. And did you ever see him aim at the window or aiming at anybody?
Nah,
Okay. And you never heard him fire the weapon?
no.
Okay. So y'all are over on the side and you're listening through these windows here. Tell me what's the next thing that happened.
When the gun didn't fire, I said maybe about 2 or 3 minutes, the police were coming down the road. So I told him, They hand me my gun back because the police were coming.
What did you do with the gun?
I put it inside my pocket.
Okay. It's fair to say you didn't want the police to know you got a pistol there, is that right?
Correct.
Okay. You didn't have it out displayed once the officers got there, did you?
No.
Chris, have you seen this picture before? This state's on 76.
No.
Okay. If I told you that was a depiction of Penny Brown's house, this is Barrow State Road, would you be able to kind of describe some things for me?
I'll try.
All right. Those windows I just showed you in that last picture that you were talking about listening through, they would have been on this side of the house, is that right?
Correct.
Okay. And there's some bushes over here, aren't there?
Yes.
Hedges. And the angle we were looking at, is there like a gravel driveway right here?
Yes.
Would that be about where you parked the Dodge Adventure? On Barrow State?
A little farther down. A little farther down.
Down this way? Or this way?
Down toward the driveway. In the gravel driveway.
Okay, you were in the gravel driveway that one right here beside the street?
Correct.
And the first thing you did, was it to go over here on this side of the house?
Correct.
All right, that's where you and Rico were listening through the window?
Correct.
And whereabouts was he when he was racking the gun to try to get it to work?
It was right at the window.
Right up here?
Yeah, then we went back to the car and tried it too.
Okay.
And it still wouldn't fire. I even tried it.
You even tried it?
Yeah, and it wouldn't
What
fire.
was happening while you were trying to get it to work?
Oh, nothing, wasn't nothing going on.
I mean, what were happening with the bullets?
Every time we pulled the trigger, or pulled the hammer back and tried to fire, well, every time we pulled the bullet jumper, fall to the ground.
It was ejecting the bullets without firing?
Correct.
All right, and testimony was that once the police showed up, you kind of abandoned that and put the gun up and hid it?
Correct.
Took it back to your car to hide it?
Correct.
All right, and then what did you do? Did you go back out to the yard?
Yep, I went back out to the yard.
And then, tell me, what were the police doing once they got in?
And we met up with Officer Rice, all those right there together. We were talking to Officer Rice, and next thing you know, we heard shots.
All right. Whereabouts, again, if you look at this picture, whereabouts were you standing with Mr. Rice?
We were standing right, I'm gonna say about 5 feet from the porch.
Okay, that's somewhere in here.
Correct.
All right. Directly in front, or to one side or another?
We were directly in front.
And what was Deputy Rice saying?
Oh, he just asked her what's going on.
Okay. Was he giving y'all any directions on where to go?
He didn't have a chance to.
Okay. What happened?
We heard shots.
Okay. What did you see?
When we heard shots, I seen Officer Wright go down, and I ran behind another cop, and they fired back. They were shooting back.
Did you see where the shots were coming from?
Yes,
Where?
from the front porch.
Okay. And who was firing shots?
Benny Brown.
All right. You see it in around here then?
Yes,
Where is it?
so right here.
All right. Dark suit,
Dark.
polka dot tie?
Correct.
Right. Left. This is identified.
All right, so you said you ran, so that, up this way? Do
Yes.
you remember?
Yes, sir.
Well, this is Barrel State Road. You go up to Barrel State and you drive.
Embarrassing.
Okay. Who was the first person to shoot the gun that night?
first person shooter.
Did you hear any gunshots before Benny Brown came out to the porch to fire?
No.
Do you recall about how many times he shot?
I'm gonna say about 16.
Well, after he fired his weapon, so Deputy Rice fell, and who else started shooting at him?
The cops that were there.
Other officers? Okay, well, were you standing in the front yard shooting up there too? Were the cops all around you?
I don't know.
Was Rico doing that? Were the police all around him?
No.
Oh. Do you recall blue lights that night?
Yes.
Just real quick, I'm gonna show you Stacy for 31. All right, Chris, in this picture, I'm just trying to get a feel for where you were when Benny came out and began firing. You're describing about 5 feet away from this porch.
Correct.
And you're saying it was directly in front, or this way, or that way? How would you describe where you were standing?
Right where your finger was.
Here?
Yeah, about right there.
And do you remember which way you were turned whenever Benny first came to the door?
Yeah, I was turned toward the door, and Officer Wright had his back to the door.
Say it again.
I was facing the door,
Okay.
and Officer Wright had his back to the door.
Did you see when he swung the big wood door open?
Well, it was dark on the porch. I didn't see any. I don't think I seen was fire coming from the porch.
Did you see Benny?
No, I didn't see any. I just seen fire coming from the porch.
Oh.
From sparks.
Wait a minute, you just identified Benny Brown a minute ago. Is that who you saw firing the gun?
Well, it was dark on the porch.
Okay. Was there, did he have the porch light on, do you recall?
No.
But at least where we're looking, do you remember where the officers' cars were? I guess go back to that diagram. You remember these? There was a police car here, a police pickup truck here, another police car right here. You remember these 3 police cars?
Correct. Yes.
And you said that they didn't have their blue lights flashing?
Yes.
Chris, thank you. You answered any questions? 1 second. Chris, let me go and ask you this. Will be covered. You got a criminal history, is that correct?
Correct.
I'm showing a moving container and a VUS from 1999.
Correct.
That driving around with some alcohol installed.
Yes.
I've got assault and battery aggravated 2001.
Correct.
Was that a fight?
No, some guys came from another county, well, came from Greenville County. They came to my house shooting at me, and I shot back and hit one of them.
Did you do any time for that?
Probation.
5 years probation, what you did?
Correct.
That's firing a weapon and hitting somebody?
Correct.
They didn't give you any active time or give you probation?
Correct.
All right, but just be clear. Your testimony is you didn't fire a gun that night, and you didn't see Rico Kingsborough fire a gun.
No, I had the gun, well, I had the gun when the cops got there.
In fact, you turned that gun over to the police, didn't you?
Correct.
Thank you. Nothing further.
Thank you, Judge. So, you've shot at people before, Chris?
Correct.
convicted of that act of shooting at people, you went in front of a judge like this judge, right?
Correct.
And you had to take an oath to tell the truth.
Correct.
And part of getting convicted and being put on probation is that you were guilty.
I ain't gonna say not guilty, but
Well, the only way you can be convicted, for instance, to be guilty,
I pleaded no contest.
you pled no contest.
Correct.
But you do admit shooting.
Correct.
And you admit having guns before.
Correct.
And you claim to have found this gun.
Correct.
And isn't it true that you told the police officers that you found it because it would be illegal for you to go and purchase the gun first?
Correct.
So you were just kind of selling that story to the police officers.
No, it's true. I found it.
You want the jury to believe you found the gun just lying in the woods.
Correct.
But we can't agree that it would have been against the law for you to go out and actually try to get a gun.
Correct.
And you just happened to find one.
I was walking through the woods and they.
Okay, so you said. Now, I'm going to take you to that night when you heard what Benny did to Peaches, okay? There was we found out there was sort of like a family meeting, right?
Correct.
And everybody was angry,
Correct.
very angry.
Of course.
And you had your gun,
Yes.
and Rico had a 22.
No.
Been a statement. Now, in addition to telling the police that you found this gun, you also said that Rico had a 22.
Right. Well, I called that gun a 22.
You called this. Okay, now, when the prosecutor was asking you questions, and he got to your statement, you actually said, well, I meant 32. You remember saying that?
No.
No. Now, do you remember telling the police that Rico had his 22 caliber pistol?
No.
This has been asked and answered.
None of that's been answered. And you called on the police that Mr. Rico had it.
Yes.
You did tell the police that?
Yes.
Okay. In fact, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'll hand this to you. The exact words to the police were, Rico Kingsborough had his gun, a 22 caliber gun, right?
Correct.
Okay. That's what you told the police.
Correct.
Okay. And what caliber is this gun here?
That's a 32.
That's a 32.
Correct.
It's not a 22.
Correct.
Okay. This is the gun, when you decided to go to Benny's house, this is the gun that you went into your yard and test fired it into the ground
Correct.
to make sure it worked.
Correct.
So if you were to shoot at Benny, you would know that it worked.
Correct.
And when you met with Rico and the family meeting, Rico said at the end of it, let's go get him. Talk about Benny.
Correct.
And when he said, let's go get him, that meant, let's go shoot him.
Well, correct.
Okay. And you may have been around when Rico testified about this earlier. Rico's exact words were,
Objection.
Kidding.
Pitting witnesses as hearsay.
Okay.
So they can protest. Yeah.
Sure. So do you remember when Rico said, let's go get him, and you took that to mean, let's go shoot Benny Brown, do you remember Rico being very specific about that, saying, let's put a bullet in him? You remember that?
No, he didn't exactly say let's go put a bullet in.
Okay, he just said, let's go get him, and you knew that meant, let's go shoot Benny.
Well, no.
Sorry?
No.
Okay. Well, just a second ago, and I mean like a second ago, I asked you the question, Rico said, let's go get him, and you said, yes, I remember him saying that. You remember that?
Judge, I do want to limit the hearsay, but also he's admitting that he's already asked the question and it's been answered.
I'm getting two different answers, Judge.
get clarification on this point, and then please move on.
Yes, sir. Okay, so just a second. I asked you the question, did Rico say, let's go get it? And you said, no, no,
Yes.
no. Yes, sir, answer the question.
Yes.
Okay. And you knew that meant let's go shoot them?
Well, it don't mean let's go shoot it.
Let's ask it this way. How did you take it?
How did I take it? I take it like, just let's go get it.
Okay, well, let's get your answer, Chris. I'm not going to put words in your mouth. When Rico said, let's go get him, what did you think he meant?
It could be anything. Beat down, shoot, anything.
So some violent act against men.
Correct.
Okay. Possibly involving a gun.
Correct.
Possibly shooting Ben.
If it took that.
If it took that. When you say if it took that, what do you mean?
I mean, if he's shooting at us, if the gun worked, we have no choice but to shoot back.
All right, so why did you get him in his house?
We really went to go see what was going on.
When you got to Benny's house with Rico, y'all snuck up to the window, right?
Correct.
And you got real close to the house and the bushes in the dark, right?
Correct.
And you're so close to the window and so close to Benny's bedroom. Here.
Rico could hear. I could hear.
And Rico said, he's in there, man. He's in there. I can hear him crying.
Correct.
And isn't it true that y'all fired off a couple of shots right there at the side of the house?
No.
Isn't it true that when y'all couldn't fire into the high windows, you decided to go around to the front of the house to find a vulnerable spot in the house to get a good shot at Benny?
No.
Why'd you go to the front of the house, Chris?
Though we met Officer Rice.
I'm sorry?
That's where we met Officer Rice in front of the house.
Well, now, isn't it true that one of Benny's family members came around the carport area and confronted you?
Yes.
And he said, there's no need for all that. Nobody's going to hurt that. Chris, did you say that?
I can't recall.
You say something like that, Chris?
I can't recall.
What did he say? The best you can remember, Chris?
I can't recall.
Okay.
Explain.
Do you recall saying to him, we'll whip your ass too?
Correct.
You did say that.
I did say that.
And at that time, Rico was coming out from the bushes behind you, right?
Correct.
From around the side of the house, right?
Correct.
From where the windows were, where Rico heard Benny crying, right?
Correct.
And he came running, and he had the gun.
Correct.
And when Rico heard the confrontation, or when you said, we'll whoop your ass too, to Benny's family member, that's when Rico came running with the gun.
Correct.
Rico gave you the gun.
Correct.
And right about then, that's when Benny fired at you.
He didn't fire at me.
We fired at you and Rico, and you got Rico, right?
No, he fired at Officer Rice.
Well, you were basically sharing the same space as Officer Rice, right?
Correct.
Okay. So he shot right where the space you were, right?
Correct. But we was also standing in the light.
I know, wait a minute. You just said it was dark.
It was dark on the porch.
It was dark on the porch.
Correct.
Well,
For me, Officer Rice and Rico was standing. It was clearly light
okay. You didn't say it was dark a little while ago.
on the porch.
You didn't say it was dark in the yard.
No, it wasn't dark in the yard. It's a light pole in the yard.
remember me asking you at another hearing about whether it was dark out there?
Yes.
You remember saying it was dark?
No.
You remember when I asked you about you and your family going to the side of the house? And I asked you if it was dark, and you said yes.
On the side of the house.
Just the side of the house was dark.
On the side of the house, yes.
Where was the light coming from in front of the yard? I mean, everybody else has already said it's dark. But you say it's light. Where was that light coming from?
From the light pole.
The light pole.
Correct.
We can agree that Benny stuck his arm out and shot. Pretty much right after you said, we'll whoop your ass too, to his family.
No, he didn't fire to Officer Rice. We were talking to Officer Rice. That's when he came out and fired.
Now, isn't it true that just a second ago you testified that Officer Rice didn't really have a chance to say anything except, hey, what are y'all doing out here?
True.
And you said he didn't have a chance to say anything else.
True.
And this thing happens really, really fast, right?
Correct.
So today you are admitting yelling, we'll whoop your ass too. Do you remember testifying in a previous hearing where you denied that?
No.
Do you remember testifying in a previous hearing saying that you were polite and calm and nice to everybody?
No.
You don't remember that?
No.
Let me show you your prior testimony again. Do you remember me asking you, did you, Chris, engage in any aggressive behavior or bad behavior or yell at anybody? Do you remember me asking you that question?
No.
No? I want to show you your transcript. It's been marked as an exhibit, Judge. Why don't you just read with me here, okay? So now, did you engage in any aggressive behavior or bad behavior or yell at anybody? What was your answer?
I didn't say no.
You understand what a transcript is, Chris?
Yes.
Okay. That lady right there takes down everything word for word. Okay? She swears when she makes this that it's true. Are you saying she got that wrong?
Yes.
She got it wrong.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we didn't end there, Chris. Because then I asked you, well, you were just calm. Do you remember what your response was?
What's that?
Do you remember when I asked you right after, did you engage in any aggressive or yell at anybody, any aggressive behavior, yell at anybody? And you, according to this, said no. And then I asked you another question. So you were just calm. You remember what you said?
No.
You don't remember what you said, or you said no?
I don't remember what I said. I don't remember what I said.
Okay. Would it refresh your recollection if I showed you what you said?
Yes.
Okay. So when I said to you, so you were just calm, your answer was what?
It said yes.
You said yes?
It said yes.
Okay. Was that true when you said yes?
I know.
No. That was a lie?
No, not really. I mean, yelling, that's not aggressive behavior.
Yelling, I'm going to whip your ass too, that's not aggressive behavior?
No.
No?
No.
Okay. Well, the bar's kind of high with you, I guess. Now, I asked a follow-up question, and that was, so you were just nice to everybody around. You remember what you said, the answer to that?
No.
You don't remember? Let me show you. So after I asked you, and you were nice to everybody around, what was your answer?
Yes.
The whole thing, Chris.
Yes, I am always like that. I am.
You are always nice like that, right?
Correct.
Okay. Even though you got convicted for shooting at people, right?
Correct.
Even though you yelled, "I'll whoop your ass," to Betty's family member.
Correct.
Even though you brought a gun there to shoot Betty, if it came to that.
Correct.
Even if you went there for to drag him out of the house and give him a beat down.
Correct.
That's all I got for you, Chris. Thank you.
Anything I redirect? Yes, sir. Most of that question was about how angry you were, wasn't it? He
Correct.
asked you
Objection,
why you were
Leland.
angry.
Correct.
Were you angry?
Kind of.
Let me ask you, had you ever had any of your other first cousins murdered in Goldsboro before?
No.
So how did that, what effect did that have on you?
It gonna make you angry.
You weren't happy, were you?
No.
You didn't have very kind feelings toward Benny Brown that night, did you?
No.
How did you feel, Chris? Just tell me.
I mean, I feel angry. I feel like hurting.
Were you upset?
Yes.
And the word that you had gotten was that Benny had shot her and was armed. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. And
Jay, don't want to object on asking me, sir. This is reclamation, right?
Let's try to limit anything that Dave addressed with, please, Ross.
Okay.
there was a lot of questions about Ben Kane McGee. Is that the one that came up and confronted you in the front yard?
I guess that's his name. I don't know it.
Do you have any reason to believe that Benny Brown knew you were outside in the front yard before he opened the door?
Objection, speculation.
No.
Did you see the window open? Did you see the curtains pulled back?
No.
Did he yell anything to you from inside?
No.
Okay. So you never saw him come to the window and look out at you?
No.
All right. And why didn't you shoot into the window when you're on the side of the house?
Because the gun didn't work.
Okay. You did, you would have been okay with hurting Benny Brown that night, wouldn't you?
Correct.
Okay. But did you get a chance to do it?
No.
That's right.
Nothing for the judge.
All right, so thank you. You can step down. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take at least one more additional witness, maybe a few more. We've been there for 1 hour and 35 minutes by my count, so we'll take a brief break, okay, about 5 minutes, and then we're going to go back on the record, okay? That's my intention at the very least. Don't discuss the case. We'll be back on the record about 5 minutes.